Good morning, traders. Are you guys seeing the action going on right now? Let's talk all about it as we're getting retail sales to really kind of move things along. A lot of stocks moving out there. We'll take a look at the action in the overall market, and I will tell you guys about one loss that's a little frustrating this morning as I was kind of finishing up, getting ready, started seeing one get hit, got a little bit away from me. But the worst part is it would have been a big winner if I would have just left it on. So that's the hard part today. We'll talk a little bit about that. But the SPY just taking off here on that 830 number now towards 548 and really just ripping here, guys. So we'll see what happens in the market right now. Definitely need to go ahead and find my way out of one trade right now. And this is how it is, guys, because the truth is, hey, I'm a trader too, just like you guys. So I'm here just getting caught on this move, trying to get out of NVIDIA here. Definitely should have already been out, but was getting ready for the show. So got caught there. Definitely took a hit there, down about 157 on that. But let's talk a little bit about the action here, guys. You guys can see it right now. The SPY making a nice little leap up there, starting to push. And there's the NVIDIA loss there. You guys can see it. Always show you guys it. And that was in the swing account. Really, I wanted to be paying attention to it towards 8:30, but I was trying to get the show up. It's how it goes sometimes, guys. It's always hard to kind of get everything ready for the show. And today, with all the action that was going on, that's how it goes. SPY now up there to 548.31s. And this really just gives the show that, remember how we talked about when this first action happened, how, I even drew the line, right? I drew that line on the 7th. We were looking at it. We were saying, would this be another V bottom? Because I see V bottoms happen all the time. And we created these little Vs that I showed you from November, from May, right? From April here. And then it just came right back. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So a lot of times you'll see technical analysts, they'll tell you that V bottoms don't exist. That's BS, BS, BS. As you guys can clearly see it, we've had a V bottom recovery now. Now for you to think on the downside, it's almost a negative if you're looking at it on the downside. And with that being mentioned, right now, I think at this point, you could just keep climbing back, right? And then on a day like today, that's when they could really stuff it to you, right? When they bring it to 550, it's going to hit a trend line. So there's going to be this trend line now that we got to kind of pay attention to if we cut back below it. But this is exactly how it happens, guys. And who was making the money on that downside action? Of course, it was the big money. And of course, the media out there putting a lot of scare into people when that happened. And now it's back up there towards the 550s. We'll see what happens with the SPY. Can it keep running? Can it go to that next level? Of course, a lot of things to think about. Guys, smash the like. We'll be taking a look at some other action out there, looking around to see what's going on. Of course, retail sales coming in at 1% versus a 0.4 estimate. So that's not bad at all. And that's the month over month, right? And so the estimate here that I had on Benzinga is a little bit off. The estimate should have been 1% there. So I don't know where Benzinga got the 0.4 estimate. So they could have it twisted there. I would go with the 0.1. And so it's really not that bad. Here, it's the core one that kind of got picked up as 0.1. The month over month came in at 1% versus a 0.4 estimate. So all looking good here. Manufacturing also at -7 versus a 5.4 estimate, 13.9 prior. So yeah, manufacturing came down a little bit there. Jobless claims coming in at 227,000 versus 236,000, actually under. And also the continuous jobless claims also coming under. So really, this has been as best as it could be. Right. So remember when we were talking about on Monday that we were going to get some retail data that could shake things up. Right. So we were looking at it at first PPI, CPI, and then retail. All of them came in just as good as it could be. Literally as rosy as it can be, at least it feels like. So not looking too bad there. We'll see what happens. Bullseye, what's up out there, guys? Having some stop issues. I see a lot of messages there, man. I would definitely reach out to customer service. So definitely take a look at that action. Honestly, I can't really deal with that bullseye because the truth is I'm not on that side, right? I'm here to trade, talk about trading. We'll keep getting after it. I'll take a look around, but definitely Zing getting me caught there on that downturn. And I was a little frustrated on this one because if I would have just held my original entry, I would be up a decent amount now, guys. So, hey, it's how it goes sometimes. Also, AISP, another small name that's moving right now. We'll see if it gets another lift there. But that's enough on the retail talk. That's enough on the SPY right now. You guys can see we're getting a nice little lift off. That's going to help stocks like AMD. That's going to help a stock like Tesla really get going again. So all these stocks are in play today. You could also be taking a look to see if anything that was beaten down starts to get the lift. I was also watching Cat's on the radar for the playbook, right? I'll talk a little bit more about the playbook, but two of the playbook plays are really not going to be into play. So I'm not going to mention them because the retail sales came in on the positive side. So if the retail sales came in on the negative side, I would be shorting Victoria's Secret. And then another one that I would go after is XRT, but it's actually the opposite action that happens off of this. And now we need to start taking a look to see if we get some upside potential move, right? So Starbucks could keep going to the upside with this, right? Now you're starting to see it go up there in the 94, 72s, right? And this could also affect what? This could also affect the stock Victoria's Secret to the upside. And you can start taking a look at different restaurants to see if they can get the lift. Restaurants were starting to deem weak as the recession concerns were coming into play. So a stock like this, like Wingstop, maybe it starts making a move back to the upside. We'll see what happens. Maybe DPZ, Domino's Pizza, 450. Has a gap to fill right above it towards 470s, 472s. Definitely the restaurants, not bad plays, but that's enough for playbook talk. Let's get to of course, we want to go ahead and get to the Sunrise report. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the market, different stocks that had earnings today. And then, of course, we'll get back to the trading action. Michael will be joining us a little bit later. And like always, you guys can always reach out. Bullseye, you can reach out and talk to Gil directly or at the team help at Trade the Pool, or just go ahead and reach out to him. And this is another thing why I would say maybe record your screen sometimes. I think it's important to sometimes record screens so that you have at least proof if you notice that something went weird. So maybe send that recorded screen, show that, talk about what happened. Like always, I think it's important to take a look to see what happened there. The data doesn't lie. So that's what I always say. Data doesn't lie. So we'll take a look at that. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look around the market today. Let's get to our Sunrise report time. You guys out there, smash the like. All right, of course, we'll start it off first with that retail sales coming in, the core at 0.4 versus a 0.1 estimate, prior being 0.5. Seeing these numbers jump, and of course, the retail numbers coming in great. The SPY getting a nice lift off of this. And the recession concerns start to look away, right? So now they start talking soft landing today. And this is just how it goes, guys. The market always changes narratives. It moves back and forth between an extremely positive outlook and extremely negative outlook. This is why Twitter is always interesting to watch, because you just see the bulls battling the bears battling the bulls. But let's move over to the second report today, which is definitely important. It's a new stake in Ulta, right? I think this is an important one as Warren Buffett stepping up to the plate here. Berkshire Hathaway in Q2 on the 13Fs revealed new positions in Ulta Beauty. 690,106 shares. So we're going to definitely keep an eye on this to see what happens there. Also exited Snowflake and Paramount. And we also found out that he sold out pretty much half of that Apple stake, right? So he's using that money and placing it elsewhere. I think that was a great move by Warren. To tell you the truth, I don't know if it was his decision or if it was somebody else's, but him getting out of Apple, at least half of Apple, was very, very smart, as this was way too much exposure to his overall kind of holdings, right? And so at this point, all he did was diversify. He's gotten himself to such wealth with Apple. There's no need to completely go away from Apple, but yes, this is what you call profit taking. This is just profit taking. And when you take half a position, when you're up so much, you're essentially now playing with the house's money. And that's exactly what Warren's doing here. He says, I'll keep the house's money, but I'm also going to go pay my house, right? Hey, can't blame the man. Let's go over to the third report here as we talk a little bit about Walmart's numbers as they came in here. Walmart reporting a strong Q2 with adjusted earnings per shares coming at 67 cents, beating the 64-cent estimate. Sales totaling 169.335 billion, ahead of the expectation of the 168.56. The company also raised fiscal year 25 adjusted EPS outlook from 235 up to 243, up from the previous guidance, which was 223 on the low end and 237 on the high end. So the low end at 235, on the previous, it was on the high end of 237. So really looking good here for Walmart as they give a really strong quarter. Can't be mad if you're a Walmart investor. As Walmart continues to climb in the channel, we'll see if it can continue breaking to the next level. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go take a look here at Cisco as they top expectations here. Let's talk a little bit about this Q4 solid report here. EPS at 87 cents, surpassing the 85-cent estimate. Sales of 13.64 billion, beating the expectations of 13.5 billion. However, the company is telling you here that their fiscal year 25 revenue outlook was slightly below the estimates, leading to a little bit of a mixed market reaction here with Cisco Systems. We'll see what happens on this one. Let's keep it moving, guys. Let's go over now to John Deere. Of course, Deere out there going to be watched because this is why I have even Cat back on the playbook. So keep your eyes on this action. We'll see what happens in Deere as they had a nice Q3 here, posting an EPS of $6.29, well above the $5.85 estimate. So sales at 13.15 billion, also higher than their 10.9 billion forecast. They absolutely killed it this quarter. And if they can do it in a high interest rate environment, there is no reason why, if they start to get interest rates cut, that Deere, Cat, and others in the heavy construction industry won't be viewed as the values starting to rise. And of course, this is going to go ahead and affect the stocks right now. So there's two areas that I'd be watching. I'm going to watch Cat, and I'm also going to be just watching the XLI, especially as defensive names have gotten a nice lift lately. That's what started the XLI. Now I want to see if Deere and Cat and other names like that can actually make the XLI take off. So you can also take a look to see stocks like GE, as it's a good industry to look at the industrials. Let's get over now towards the analyst ratings, as that's going to be something definitely to look at. There's a couple of them this morning that I want you guys to pay attention to. So the first one up, of course, UBS upgrading Dutch Bros to buy with a price target of 39. This is just interesting because you guys know how I love my coffee, right? Pinky's on up, and I'm a big Dutch Bros fan. I've had it. I've had the coffee. I think it's a great system. The only thing that, and it gets mentioned, I think what needs to happen here is Dutch Bros needs to let go a little bit on how they have expansion of stores. When you go to get a Dutch Bros franchise, you have to work with them for like 2 years. You have to do all these process to go ahead and get the kind of the growth that you're looking for. But the truth is, Dutch Bros, you need more stores. If you can actually get the stores out there, I think you can compete with a Starbucks and other coffee companies. We'll see what happens out there. Let's keep it moving. Let's talk about Deutsche Bank's upgrading Robinhood Market to buy and raising the price target to $24. This could be one that could get sparked today. And also keep your eyes to see if maybe Bitcoin takes a big move today and we can trade all those Bitcoin names. Of course, BFA Securities upgrading PNC. Who was talking about PNC just yesterday as I started to see the KRE starting to make an up move? And even though I'm against regionals, when I saw that kind of purchase, and it wasn't a purchase, but it was an investment in a company just recently in the regional space. I said, you know what? Look at the leader to maybe start taking a move. Analysts coming in here, and you know how the analysts are, they start to chase. So they're coming in here with a buy and a $200 price target on PNC is something I'd look at. Last one is Wells Fargo actually coming in with a downgrade of Snowflake to equal weight, lowering its price target to 130. And I think this is just kind of Wells Fargo's analysts seeing that Warren sold his Snowflake and was like, you know what, I need to go and change at least my price target to bring this expectation down a little bit. But we'll see what happens there. Like always, guys, the Sunrise Report is here to give you guys what's going on in the market and why is it moving. Like always, I take a time to go ahead and curate this for you guys. Smash the like if you guys enjoy this. Also, catch this on our social, right? We put this out on our Twitter. We put this out on our Discord, just like we put out the playbook. You guys hit the like. In a few minutes, I will be joined, of course, by Michael Katz as we take the CEO of Trade the Pool on, and he'll be doing some trading action with us. So smash the like, guys. A lot more to talk about here today. Let's get to the action. Let's go to the live trading side of the show and get out of the Sunrise Report. We'll take a look at what we can find today. Can I bounce back? Down 72, still up big on the week. Probably I'm nearing now what? I got about 300 yesterday, so got up towards 700, lost about 70, about 630 still. 630. So we need about like 400 to hit that 1,000 goal. Let's get after it, team, and see what we can find in the live trading action. What up, traders? How we doing out there? Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the market right now. Definitely seeing some market moves moving all around here. So we got to go ahead and see what we can find. Taking a look here to see what's going on there. Definitely seeing this Zing get the big push today. This thing got all the way up towards like 560s, 556. So I did get the pressure on this one. I was down a decent amount too, so can't get too frustrated. Was trying to get actually long at 360s, and this thing just rocketed off that 360. Didn't give me the opportunity. So right as that happened, this thing just ripped off there towards 4 and kept going. I ended up shorting it, trying to tackle it back down towards the 4. Definitely 480s is a big resistance for this stock, but we'll see what happens in Zing if it can continue trading during the open market. GovX is another one on the penny list to definitely take a look at. We'll see what happens on that one. AISP kind of rounds out the penny stock game. We'll see what happens. This one can get back over 330s. Was also taking a look at some other ones this morning, but they just didn't hold. This WENA is a dollar stock there. You can kind of pay attention to. You can see how it's going sideways off this $1. I did see volume in this name, but it really wasn't moving. But just something to kind of point to and keep an eye out. Of course, Serve is another one that I'll keep on watch on a day like today where we start to get an up move already. And we have like kind of now this like rosy environment outlook. This is actually one that's on the radar and could make a big move on the daily chart. So I will keep watch on Serve. I think this one could push back towards 14. It's at 12. So you got more than potential for reward there in Serve. We'll see what happens there and see how I'm able to trade it. And then I did see like kind of an analyst note on Longevron, just to mention something that I saw out there. But let's keep it moving, guys. Let's go to the overall stocks. Let's go take a look at SPY. SPY getting up there to the 549.50s. We'll see what happens in the market around. Tesla bouncing back now towards the 204.50s. This is one that I'll definitely keep on the radar. AMD, definitely one that I talked about yesterday, could get the lift. Yesterday, it kind of pulled back, was kind of pushing around. Now really starting to get going back towards the 143. And this is just kind of a beaten down stock that could come back. Let's say 150, 155. Do I see this back at 180s? No, I don't. But hey, that's just what I'm seeing. Intel's down to that $20. Maybe this could get a little lift today on a push like this. Micron's already made a nice little climb back. I wouldn't be focusing too much on that one. Looking around at some other names here, Meta's one that looks like it wants to break out through the highs. And now I'd start to look at the Amazon recovery, because Amazon has this nice gap zone that it could recover. And it's clearly trying to make that move back there towards the 185. I'm sure a lot of traders will be watching that gap. If Amazon can go, Shopify can go. Look at Shopify go, man. That 73 definitely should have made an attempt to buy it at the 50s. I've always wanted this back at 46 and 45. It got there to 50s. I should have taken a longer term position in this. This should have been in the investment account, really. Shopify back to 73.50s. And Shopify is a company that I would actually invest in the long run. Even still at these levels, of course, it's a little bit higher. I wouldn't be buying it at 73, but it's something that I think about, because the truth is, I think that Shopify is going to be one of those companies that actually competes with Amazon in the long run. Right? We'll see what happens on that. But Shopify, nice little lift there. Netflix now, because it's pushing strong. And of course, they didn't have a bad report and starting to push a little bit higher. So I'll keep a watch on names like that. These names could definitely start to turn around and start to get a little bit of a lift. Growth names start to look sexy again. So looking for those names to kind of get a little pop, like a name like Unity today, Roku could get a little bit of a pop, and all those types of names that, you kind of almost were starting to forget, but now can start to push. Roblox could get the lift there. Carvana could get the lift again, right? You can continue pushing through that 150. You can start looking at Affirm to see if that pushes. There's a lot of these names that definitely going to be on the radar. We'll see what happens, guys. Smash the like. A lot to take a look at here. All right, guys. Let me see, right? I have no idea what Hendrix is doing, but I'll just keep going. We'll see what else is going on out there, guys. Smash the like. Oh, I see what it is. A helicopter coming by. One of those big old military helicopters. Scaring Hendrix out here. All right. We'll see what else is going on, guys. How we doing in the chat? What's going on, guys? All right. Day trade Tony. What's going on, man? 242 plus commissions equal 300. Hey, can't go wrong. Day trade with Tony. Already made some good money. Take that money, baby. You can't go wrong at all. All right, guys, let's keep going. GNLN is definitely one to keep on the radar. That's just a big mover, man. It's almost hard to trade that one, but just be careful with that one, man. I think that a lot of traders are trying to trade this and get it right, but it's just hard here, especially at the levels that you're trading it at. But we'll see what happens with this one. It does have like this huge cup and handle that it could come right back through. So I would watch that level. That's going to be a push that goes back through 17. I'd be looking to try to get at least a couple of attempts towards the support. You've gotten that one attempt where it came back down, came back around it. We'll see what happens on this GNLN. Above 18 is really where it gets hot, back towards 21 and 22. All right, catching up out there. What's going on, guys? How we doing? All right, bullseye. Just keep it going, my friend. Zing has been hard. Yeah, Zing has been hard, man. Definitely Zing was hard there. And it was a little frustrating to me because I felt like I could have got it on both sides. But hey, let it go, man. AISP is another one that I saw this morning. I was watching it right here when it was starting to make the move through 317. And I was like, where is this one going to? Maybe 350? I didn't think it had 370 in it. And you can see it's been going sideways since then. I almost bought the 310 pullback right after it, but I was just like, man, where's this one going to go now? It pulled back way too fast. So I've been taking a look at more of this pre-market trading. I've been doing pretty well with it this week, but like always, it's always a little bit of a back and forth. We'll see what happens. NVIDIA now at 119.22 and could really kind of take off here today. So take a look at those stocks to see what you can kind of get. For these tech names, I'm going to be looking for a lot of scalps, right? Because their momentum has already started. It has a huge move already. So I'm looking for little scalps that I can kind of make that money. Nah, Money Mitch, that was for Bullseye detailing that the daily pause is a net value. I personally got a good trade on Zing for 80 cents. There you go. Take it, Tony. Take it. Honestly, if I would have got that kind of like I think it was like the 460 entry. That's where I was trying to get in right before it kind of rocketed. It was right here at this 320s. It started jumping 350s, 360. I tried to get in there. It didn't get me, and then boom, it was at 4 in a couple seconds. So we'll see what happens on that one. See if maybe we grab it during the open market. All right, looking around, what else is making a move? What is this trading here? Let's go to some scanners. I want to start taking a look at some other scanners here. So I'm going to pull some other scanners that we can take a look at, especially if we start to take a look at like different action from the close and trying to take a look at these technology names. I'm going to pull something up here so that we can take a look at it. I see Zynga with some unusual volume, of course. Zynga Technologies down to 7. That's how drug manufacturers can be, man. I'll tell you one thing. I try to stay away from those names, even in investments. What else? What's it going to give me, right? I mean, we'll see what happens. Specialty retail getting a little bit of a lift there. So that tells me Rocket getting a little bit of a push. And we talked about this one when it was going towards the 18, when Zillow was coming out with good report. And man, Rocket's actually made a huge move back, man. I remember when this thing was down there towards $8. It's back towards 19 and actually working its way back towards 2020 and 2021. I mean, I don't think anybody thought that Rocket was going to disappear. So it's something interesting to think about in an investment outlook. Rocket Company actually making a big move on the weekly and starting to push. Zillow is starting to push. So that's another one to keep an eye out. It's been pretty hot since the report and hasn't really turned around. And that one could actually help a cheaper name like Open actually get moving. This hasn't moved off of this. And a little part of me is thinking now swing trade on Open because I have these bottoms to go off of the 160. I think this one could clear the gap back to 214, actually start making a way back towards $3. So if you're giving me an outlook to $3, that's going to be a 62% increase that could happen here. I actually don't mind this at all for a swing trade outlook. Let's go ahead. Let me try to grab a little bit of Open right now. And then I'll try to add a little bit more towards it, towards the Open or something like that. But there's no reason why I can't take a little bit right now and look to see if this really starts getting going. I actually really like this kind of trade plan to see if I can make that move back to 300. Let's start it off with maybe a 200 shares or 300 shares. I'll do 300 shares because I've been trying to step up a little bit more. We'll see what happens on this one. Starter on there on Open. We'll look also for Zillow to make that move. Redfin is another one that's kind of beaten down that we could look for a little move back in this housing play. This is not a bad look here as it starts to come working its way back here. It's been up there towards 850s multiple times. Could take 8 today and go right back to 850s. Redfin, another one that I could keep on the radar to get after on the swing trade side of things. We'll see if this one pulls back to the 750s. That's also another level. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there. The 8 a.m. algo wicks can trigger the daily pause too without you actually hitting it. I mean, the wicks are something else, man. That's kind of the off market kind of orders that are going through there. You got to be careful also with kind of stop limits. I don't put out the stop limits near that 8 a.m. because it could get triggered through that data. But just things to think about. You also got to understand how to best trade with this platform. And another thing is just actually trading with it. You can learn a little bit more about it. That's why I also was saying new platform. Take it easy. Take it easy. I think it's very important to take it easy when you're on a brand new platform and you haven't traded it in the past. This is the reason why Tony knows about this. Is this is not his day one on the platform. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing, guys. All right, GNLN. We'll see what happens in that one. See if we can get a little bit of a lift. All right. Let's keep it going, guys. Let's see what else is out there. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Poll, guys. Smash the like. Let's keep going. Take a look at the diamond out there. I'm gonna take a look also at Apple. I wonder how Apple will move after that report of exactly how much Warren sold out there. But man, Apple's been working its way right back up there from that 200 cut down. We'll see if it gets back through the resistance of 225 today. But it's been straight up, and the SPY overall straight up. What are we on? We're on a five-day win streak. Will we get day 6 today? Find out, team. Find out. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let's see what else is out there. Morgan Stanley moving back. Yeah, the banks are probably going to be moving off of this also. Even though I see eventually this trade breaking down, right now I wouldn't be fighting it. Could easily go back towards that 44. So keep your eyes on that. You can take a look to see JPM as the best breed in the banks to try to play that. PNC, talked about how that could maybe start to move back, and KRE could get that little push right back up to 57. So as much as I'm against the regional banks in the long run, and I have like this long run outlook for them that they're going to get hit again, especially in 2025. But that doesn't matter that I can't trade it today, right? So I'll be watching KRE to see if it gets back through that 54.50. It's not a bad one to watch for, guys. It could get through that 55. Just go back to 56, 57. Doesn't look bad today. Of course, PNC also getting that rating upgrade. That's not going to be a negative for it. All right, guys, we'll keep going. Let's see what else is out there, guys. Let's go. All right, guys. Not going to use hard stops intraday because it auto sells my order. I mean, of course. I mean, that's what stop losses are for. And don't forget that if for any reason you get a wick through that stop loss, it will trigger it. This is why I also sometimes use stop limits, because stops will trigger with a limit on that order. But hey, to each his own. You know, one of the things is, and you see it, you see me sometimes, I even take off my stop. I'll wait and I'll trigger it myself, right? You got to be careful. Stops just show your hand. And I talk about this all the time. It's like playing poker with your hand open, because you're letting the house see your hand. And I think that that's another important thing. So we need to think about this, right? At the end of the day, even if you're trading on wherever you're trading, whenever you're putting stop losses out there, you're essentially showing your hand that, hey, this is where you can come and take me. Do you want to take me? Things like that. That's why I like to do that, especially in, I say it all the time, you're going to get stop hunted. That's just the way it works sometimes, guys. Don't forget to hit the like, guys. Let's keep going. Let's see what else is out there. All right, we'll see what else we got and what we're able to make some money on today. I have Michael joining in just a few seconds here, but let's take a look a little bit more at the outlook today. Of course, you guys are seeing technology kind of lead on that action. Also, you're going to see some retail names kind of get a nice little push. So Ulta, of course, with that Warren Buffett mention. Walmart, you got Wayfair moving higher today. Dollar Tree, Target, DG, Dollar General, Five Below, Amazon moving, Ollie's. A bunch of these we can definitely take a look at. We'll see what happens on them, but you can see how Amazon's been reacting since I even really been talking. It got a nice pop at that 830. We'll see how these kind of continue to make a little bit of a move. ASO recently just got a downgrade. That's why it was down, getting a little bit of a bounce back. Taking a look here at the technology names also. TER, not a bad one there. KLAC, so those equipment stocks. So like AVGO could be one to maybe take a look at, right? We'll see what happens on that one. And that tells me here, because AMAT getting a nice little spike on that also. So I'll see what happens with these. Of course, AMD showing up here. We'll see what happens on that one. Don't feel too positive about that one, but overall, definitely I am going to take a look also at this one. LUMN did get a little bit of a pop. This has been one that's been trying to work for a little while now. We'll see what happens on this one. Keep your eyes on these stocks. And of course, if you guys always want to take a look, this is how I'm able to tell you guys that there's 100% of technology stocks in the green right now in the XLK. So that tells me maybe I don't fight the XLK today, right? Maybe, guys. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Zing, zinging. I'm going to leave that one alone right now. I think there's other ones that might have a better potential reward. LUMN getting a nice little pop there, 6. Now it had just pulled back now towards 577. I kind of like this one. Doesn't look bad already here on this pullback. Looking for the move back through 6. We'll see what happens on LUMN. Not a bad looking play right now. Could pull back to the 570, 571s. That's where I could see support. But it really doesn't look bad here for another run into 6, especially towards the open here. So this one, not a bad one. I might take a shot on this one. LUMN. Not in a bad space in the telecom space here. Daily chart, you can see how it's been trying to make that move back here, going towards 750s. We'll look to see if this actually wants to get the run. All right, let's see what else is out there, guys. Let's go. All right, let's see what else. All right, QFIN. 4 going up there. A bunch of names that don't really stand out to me on those. But definitely going to be watching that kind of construction build play. That could be another play. ITB, the construction index. You guys can see how this is kind of bouncing back. A couple of names here that we can also watch here. So you can look at some of the big ones here and take a look to see if they're starting to bounce back. Of course, Home Depot gave a warning on its report, but that doesn't matter. If the retail sales came in decent, well, you guys see it. Low, not low anymore. Home Depot getting started also. Sherwin-Williams getting started. So keep your eyes on that. And then take a look at residential construction to see if that can get a nice little push today. Lennar, DR Horton, a bunch of these names definitely to watch as we start to see these housing names get another run. BLDR recently got a downturn on its earnings. This is one that I've liked before, and it's had made a nice run. So definitely Builder's First Source, not a bad one to keep on watch. But like always, guys, smash the like. There's always a lot out there to take a look at. And Gil, anyone looking at snow? VP bringing up snow there. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Warren said, goodbye, snow. I'm selling out of snow. I don't need it. So I don't know if I want it, if Warren doesn't want it. But I'll tell you one thing. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on our CEO of Trade the Pool and see what he's taking a look at this morning. My man, Michael, what's going on this morning? Oh, the old mute button. Something's on there, the hard mute button. All right, well, we'll get that fixed up here. We'll get him back on. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready, Michael. All right, let's keep going. Definitely. You got to smash the like for that. We'll get him on in just a second. I think he's in the new office, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, as they say sometimes. Probably getting set up there. We'll get him right back on here in just a second here, guys. Excited to see what... Oh, I think we got him. What's up, Michael?
Hey,
you're alive?
Everybody. Yeah, I'm in. Can you hear me?
It's a little bit lower here. Let me see if I can fix this up here. All right, you there? You good?
Yes, I'm here, but let me see if I can find... Okay, I think I got it. Hold on. Dun.
What's going on out there, guys? How we doing? Good morning. Great live session with Michael in the Discord in a few minutes, guys. Stick around for that, too.
Okay, how about now? Are we good?
Loud and clear.
All righty. What's up?
What's up indeed, man? Ready to look into the market? Ready to see what we can find today? Of course, like always, there's so much to look into the market. Today, we got retail sales and still the bulls continuing to show that they got the grips on this market as things start to climb back and continuing to climb back as we look at pretty much a V bottom on the market, right? I mean,
that was a shocking to me, actually. I expected it to drop, to add another drop before bouncing up like this. But hopefully we will start doing that from here. I just spoke with the team on Discord with the guys. We did a live session, a Q&A, and we talked a little bit about the market. And the level that I marked was 19,360, where we just reached and started to drop from. So I took a tiny short on the market, really tiny one. But hopefully we will see continuation to the downside. I need some shorts here.
Oh, well, I've gotten my shorts ripped off. I don't know if I have any shorts left here in the house, Michael, so I might have to wait a little
All
bit there.
naked, no shorts.
It's going to be a naked shorts, it seems like, as they say out there. But definitely, man, we'll see what happens. I've been playing a little bit of that downside, thinking that maybe the 9 EMAs would kind of reject, start to see those, because we saw so many stair-stepping kind of charts, right? Whether it be like kind of Apple, right? Some of these bigger names like Nvidia, just slowly stair-stepping back, but the stair-step continues. And that's definitely interesting. Even yesterday, we got that shake, right? Where the market started to go down and out of nowhere, we were right back up, right? And so I think that that's an important thing to kind of look at. We'll see if the market can continue to rise. Definitely going to take a look to see how the retail names trade today, right? Will like kind of Lululemon get a continued push, right? Of course, Ulta, Warren said, you know what? I like this pig with makeup on, so I'm going to go and buy this pig with makeup on. Ulta on the pullback. And the funny part was, I was just talking about this on the show on Monday, Michael, about how I think that at least long-term investing, I wouldn't mind having Ulta because it's done so well. If you take a look at the monthly, it had a pullback, but look at where this company started at, right? At least it's had some splits. Some things can kind of take a look at it, but $7 to all the way $5.50. Something is right in this company. They're doing something right? Now the only question is, can you continue to find that value? I think Warren said, you know what? These monthly charts support 350. Let's get after it there. So not bad levels. We'll take a look to see how maybe it can affect different stocks in that space, right? You got Estee Lauder that sells like high-end makeup that could get a little bit of a push. Elf lately has been kind of getting hit. This maybe could turn around today, right? Elf Beauty. There's still a lot of plays that you can play off this. And overall, we were looking to see if we were going to get recession concerns. And that's why I was even thinking about maybe ANF kind of crumbling. But who knows, man? Maybe this could actually spark these to get another run. Best Buy has been hanging out here at the 84. So a lot of these retail names, we're looking to see if maybe we'd get a breakdown in recession concerns and then all of a sudden consumer concerns out there. But now it's the opposite. I think they could actually maybe get a little bit of a run. Of course, we got the holidays coming eventually. So what are you thinking out there, Michael? Are you seeing any trends, anything you're liking?
I mean, I'm looking also at ANF, and you know, the move on Abercrombie from 20 to 200 was crazy, right? And now after a nice pullback, pushing higher, let's see if it can break the 160 on ANF, and then we're probably going to see a new high pretty soon on that. So if there's going to be a recession, it will probably take a little bit longer to reach those retail shops. But yeah, definitely interesting to see, especially when getting closer to the holidays.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely think about all the time. And the recession concerns were there. And one that I pointed out earlier that I think it's interesting is all these housing companies starting to make a nice little liftoff. Zillow, Rocket, I'm seeing UWMC this morning up there towards 942s. And I know that a lot of people trade these smaller cap names that go 60, 2,000% in one day, Michael. But there's also something to be said about these smaller names that are just on an uptrend like this, right? So like if you look at this, since January, it was at $6, but it's just continuing a nice little uptrend. There's nothing wrong with trading smaller names that maybe have more of a consistent chart, right? Smaller kind of windows to kind of get in here, but also more risk management that you can come into play and kind of manage that risk, right? So these are interesting plays for me today. Whether it be UWMC, I talked about how I took a swing trade there and open. Going to look to see if maybe some of this starts to kind of close that gap. So we'll see what happens on that. Also, a lot of AI names moving this morning. So I want to take a look at that action to see what happens with those. I saw a lot of them on the gap scanners. So definitely taking a look to see if maybe some of these AI names start to move. SoundHound AI is one that I'm looking at right now. This is a daily chart, $5 right above it. Could maybe make a little bit of a breakout towards the upside. Of course, we know how C3 AI had made a huge run, right, with those AI names, has pulled back. I did see that it doesn't look like it could take a nice little run. So I think anything that's AI attached with the kind of the worry getting out of the market right now has that potential to get a little bit of a lift.
I'm also watching a few Chinese stocks like JD, Baba, also doing nice moves.
Yeah, that's a perfect one to mention. I actually had this trend line drawn from this morning, JD, right?
Yeah.
And I was seeing this kind of like trend line that it was trying to kind of respect back. And I was wondering, would we get a move back through that 27? It's been slowly stair stepping there, trying to reload off that 27. We'll look to see if it takes another move towards 2750s. Baba definitely has been beaten down. It got hit this morning off the earnings. Will it just climb back? Sometimes stocks love to do this where they get hit on the earnings, but since it's such a positive day in tech, at least to start, it could just start to climb the wall of worry right back. So it's not a bad one there, Baba. And just to mention on Chinese names that are interesting, have you ever traded the Ying and the Yang?
You mean like the stock? No.
Yeah, man. These are leverage China plays. You know what I mean? Yin
Welcome
and
to the
yang,
new
man.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, you always got a leverage play somewhere, right? And of course, you always got those NVIDIA plays, right? There's the NVDX daily 2x long NVIDIA.
Yeah.
There's so many of these plays that we have available to us.
I gotta share my screen for that Yang part. I'm watching it on the 4-hour chart, and you can see a beautiful. Where's my chart? And you can see a beautiful head and shoulder here. Interesting to keep in mind that if we drop below this area of neck, like 870, 880, interesting to see if we can push another dollar to the downside. And like you said, that's a 3x, so could be super interesting to trade. Again, obviously very aggressive, but keep that in mind. Breaking the 200 EMA as well might add some action to it.
The Yin is the one that they changed it up. They changed up the name on it. They had so YINN would be your bull look, and that's going to look like an inverse head and shoulders, right? So you can see that at the bottom there, right? And so
similar to what we had on Tesla, right? Do you remember you talked about that a few weeks ago when Tesla had that nice head and shoulder, reverse head and shoulder?
And of course, I'd say if you're looking at China, you got to look at the leader, PDD, right? That has to be doing well. It's already doing well right now. Recently had a nice long trend line that you broke through on the 135. So interesting move there. And PDD is definitely one area that I could see continued upside lift there. Of course, you got other names in China you can keep a watch on too. So keep your eyes on that. The EVs, I don't feel too positive about, but definitely the tech companies could continue to move. NIO, no. That thing's been coming down for a long time, man. Look at that downtrend.
No, I'm not touching that. Sorry. There are so many competitors that easily passing that. So I don't know. I'm not touching.
And what about Tesla today? What are you thinking about levels for Tesla? Because I feel like it could get a nice little run, especially since a little bit of the worries out there. And a lot of people are starting to see more and more, Elon joining with Trump kind of action. What are you thinking about this on Tesla?
Yeah, that's an interesting move, what Elon is doing, because, there are both sides, right? There are guys that supporting that and guys that not. So it might affect the overall sales. Tesla generally, it's like in a tiny uptrend. Let me share it for a sec. So obviously we dropped nicely, and then we are running. You can mark this channel between those levels, like probably from here. So looks okay to go all the way to the 215. Try to test that high from 2 days ago. And besides that, that's what I'm seeing right now. So going to the 210 will be the next resistance area, or a little bit above that. If we'll drop again to this area of 195-ish, 196, that could be a nice way to look for the bounce on Tesla. So kind of tiny range comparing to what it can do, but this is what I would aim for.
All right, there's the bell, guys. Let's get after it. Let's go try to do some trade and see what we can do, guys. I see you guys all probably paying attention also to some of the smaller names out there, guys. Smash it up out there. Let me know if you see any of these small ones moving. And, of course, Michael, if you get a trade, let me know. We'll take a look at that. All right, taking a look at the action out the gates here. Tesla will be on the radar, a bunch of these tech names, and, of course, we'll keep watch to see what else is moving there. Look at Sound already giving me the alert. Clean Spark also. Those are names that I definitely like today. Sound and Clean Spark. That's the Bitcoin names, right? Sound just broke 5. Going to keep a watch on this one to see if it wants to get going at that 5. Really start to push. Of course, AI name here.
I'm just going a little bit against the market right now. I'm shorting it. I shorted it a few minutes ago during the pre-market. Let's see. I added just a tiny bit more. Let's see how it will play.
GNLN making a big push. I'll put you up, my friend, if you're looking at some of that market action there. We'll see what happens on that, but definitely a lot of charts.
Nike's drop.
There you go, Nike. Yeah, I saw Pershing Square had made a position in that. GNLN trying to make a little bit of a move right out the gates, now pulling right back down. That's how that one can go. Be careful out there, guys. Sound is moving, got back through that 5, starting to push here towards 512s. Taking a look at that one to see what I can trade on that. All right, so what's up out there, guys? What are you looking at? Sigga? Okay, we'll see what happens on that one. Taking a look to see what I can find out here. How's VSCO? Victoria's Secret with a nice little push right there, guys. I talked about how I even had the flip on my call there. So I talked about how I would be betting to the downside if retail sales were on a miss, but on the beat, it's still to push up. I could see Starbucks taking another push up. We'll see what happens on that one if it gets the move. And then Clean Spark is one that I definitely want to watch there. 11 seemed to hold there, and I'm looking for maybe a little bit of a Bitcoin run, especially after you start to shake some of this downside concern. That GNLN really got hit hard.
Nvidia is dropping nicely. Nvidia, if it will go a little bit higher, now it's dropping, but I got a level between the 191, almost like 120, all the way to 122. So a $2 area of resistance. So right now it's dropping. If it will bounce again and reach those areas between the 120 to 122, I will try to aim for a short position.
Have a good one, Wisdom. Have a safe flight, my friend. I love that you're tuning in from the airport, enjoying some time out there.
That's amazing.
Hey, it's good to see you. I appreciate the message too. So have a safe flight out there. We'll have some fun out there, guys. I'm long Clean Spark here, guys. I'm taking a shot on Clean Spark. I talked about how the crypto names could get a nice little lift off of this. So I'm looking for some pullback. Add to. There's a nice little push there towards the 1130s, 1136 there, and you can start taking a look at different ones. Remember Hood got a nice upgrade today, so I'm taking a look at that one, maybe see if it gets a lift. Coin has been really weak as of late, so maybe Coin is another way to play this. Just mentioning that. I'm going after the crypto names here, and we'll see if some other ones really start to lift. Seeing some bigger names showing up on the volume thrust, so that's an interesting. Cisco, look at that push. Big push in Cisco today, this morning. Of course, they had their earnings. VSCO showing up there. That's a nice little big push to 23.75. We'll look to see what other names kind of get a nice little push here. But interesting morning to start it off.
Yeah, super strong on some levels. I see the LTR. You mentioned the LTR Dollar Tree. Looks pretty strong, going all the way to the 102. So you got this area of resistance right here. So on a pullback, that could be interesting to start looking for buying it. Not a lot of volume. That's the only issue here. But on the chart, looks pretty good.
All
How
right,
about pushing
guys.
higher?
Yeah, we're getting a nice little push out there. KRE going higher. I talked about how regional banks could go up. Even though I hate them, that doesn't mean that they can't go up higher. There you guys see it, and definitely starting to see that move. PNC with a nice little upgrade. Of course, we saw TFC and different names get a kind of investment. I think that would be something you watch here. Clean Spark, I'm like, man, why didn't I get more? Because that thing is just ripping. So, and I did put a limit to add, but I got zero pullback, not even a cent of pullback. That's when you know you're in a good one. That thing's just taking off here. 1153s now. Could also take a look at like Riot, different names. You see how those are pushing? I think this is also the perspective of, okay, you got some of the uncertainty out of the market. Let's go look into the crypto plays. So,
and I got it
exactly what you're getting.
I got to tell you, Mitch, in regarding to where to add more to the position, we just added, and this is for you guys, we just added 5 like second charts and tick charts as well to trade a pool platform. So in most cases, when I used to trade like scalping and all, I would look at 5 second charts and look for those tiny pullbacks in order to add more to the position. So you can definitely use that, guys.
Yeah, they call those the micro pullbacks, and I think that's definitely something you can look into, especially on the fast ones, guys. Deer going up today for that mention. I think CAT is a definitely play that I'm looking at on the swing trade side of things. So I'm going to go and try to open that up, try to get a little bit of CAT on the swing trade side of things, guys. You guys know I've been trying to take a little bit more and more swing trades. So trying to get a fill here. Let's see if I can get fast enough, man.
Nike bouncing, Tesla not stopping whatsoever. So we got this resistance at around, like I said, 214, 215 area could be interesting. So if it will reach that, I will try to go for the downside on Tesla. And again, maybe a nice pullback could lead us to another push to the upside. So a nice pullback could be all the way to the 208 area. If we'll see that on Tesla, then we can look for the long side.
I agree, Wisdom. We were looking at that Clean Spark for a swing. You know, one of the things is when I get to those really high uncertainty times, it's kind of hard to take overnight swings, especially with data coming in, right? You really don't know which side data is going to land unless you're you know, part of the FOMC, but you know, and the truth is at that point, I hate to open overnight risk, man. You got to wake up at 4 a.m. and that's the hard part. You got to be ready to defend your positions if needed, right? And so you got to know what style trader you are sometimes. Sometimes I like to take swings, but when the uncertainty isn't so high, right?
True.
Because it's very difficult, man, very difficult. There's Clean Spark now, 1170s, so really nice push there, guys.
True.
Almost $100 here. I'm probably just going to take it here. All right, guys, just closed it. And you guys saw me use what? The X close there. I didn't even want to take the time to go to the order form. So I just said, you know what? X close market, get out, take the money and run, Mitch. I'll take that nice little $100 and look for the pullback back to the VWAP to get right back in. Let's go. Let's go.
Walmart is doing great after earnings.
Walmart is doing great on that earnings, and I'd look for maybe Costco to follow. So Costco is one that's taken a pullback recently that could take the high right back, right? And so that's one thing that I definitely kind of keep watch. Target also moving off of that number too. So it's back towards 142. GovX mentioned in the chat there, definitely trying to push there back towards the $4. This thing got hot there, was there in the pre-market. It's going back towards that. I also saw Zig mentioned in the chat there. Didn't get to the pre-market high. Pre-market high is 550s, but that's back towards 466 for all those small penny traders. Get after it. And don't forget Clorox. Wisdom, you know what happened with Clorox? Freaking Kramer yesterday said he wanted to go long Clorox after he watched my playbook on our social media. That's what happened there, Michael. Kramer is watching our social media there because he said, you know what? I'll long Clorox I'm like, oh man, you had to do that to me, Kramer. Now I got to go and
If you're
short
taking long,
Clorox.
short it, definitely.
Yeah, now I got to short it. Look at Clorox today. We'll see what happens at the end of the day, but dang, Kramer. We'll see what happens. I'm telling you, one day, Michael, I'm taking Kramer's spot. I'm taking it.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Got out of CleanSpark there. It did go a little bit higher towards the 1172. I'm looking for pullbacks on those crypto names to get another entry in. Just wanted to take that nice little cushion, take it off. Now I'm back in the green. Of course, I had a nice little loss there in Sing in the pre-market. So back into the green, trying to get to $1,000 this week, up about 640s. Let's go. Let's go. There's some pullbacks coming in now. I will look for a pullback on CleanSpark back down below 1140s. Mara strong. Hey, there's a lot of trading out there, guys, today. So I think what it is also try to focus on things that you were already focused on, because this is that day where like literally there's things popping off everywhere, right? Like left, right, China, crypto, technology, retail. You got to find what you like, what you normally kind of understand. What are you seeing, Michael?
Yeah, exactly what you just said. You know, in times of volatility, you got to step away a little bit and not just be too much involved with the market, right? Because when you see a lot of volatilities and a lot of opportunities like stocks popping up everywhere, you got to understand which one really you want to take. You don't want to overtrade it.
Yeah.
So just take a step back, focus on what you already know, or, you know, just the one with the A+ setup that you're familiar with the most, and then try to attack it also with caution, because the market is super volatile, especially after this news today.
All right, getting that pullback already in CleanSpark. It hasn't come back to the VWAP, though. I'm looking for slightly below VWAP towards the 1130s here to really start the entrance. There's the pullback starting to happen here. We'll see if I'm able to get that entry. SPY, though, did turn on a pullback. Just mentioning that. Really not going to be concerned until it breaks like 548s on a pullback for the SPY.
Yeah, feel well, par.
ASTS Space Mobile Company going higher. Man, this thing has continued to lift. Daily chart has truly impressed me. Look at this thing, man. Look at this. ASTS. This is Space Mobile Company. Essentially, you know, T-Mobile, though, has joined up with this company, Verizon. And so they were smart. They got their satellites up there. And now all the telecommunication companies are calling them, hey, can I join on those satellites?
That's a great move. And yesterday I saw an ad or a post on Meta when they talked about a company named Icon. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah.
Okay. They're building like 3D houses. And I believe it's in Texas. There's a bunch of like a neighborhood that all printed, 3D printed.
All just printed houses out there, man. We print money. We might as well just print everything else, right?
It's about time.
Michael's like, I wouldn't mind, man. I just need a big enough printer because I want a big house.
It looks great. Huge houses. I'm talking about huge houses.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah. Future, man. It's there. It's there, available to us, especially with AI and how that's going to affect like, let's say, coding and engineering. I mean, that's definitely going to help.
Let's see if we can take a trade on Nike.
Future day trade asking me a question here. I'll just answer. Would you increase your goal with 1,000 a week? You won't be able to pass the account that way. I mean, I really wouldn't be too upset with that, right? Because the idea is always to get like the motions in the right direction, right? I feel like too many traders are trying to just reach it in like 3 or 4 trades. So I'm just trying to get that right momentum in my equity wave. Once I get close, I can take a swing to try to win the account, right? But the idea there is to try to find some consistency. And that's what I'm trying to focus on. Because if I don't get consistent, I ain't even going to get close to the top, right? Let's just be honest.
And that's 100% right, Mitch, because, you know, a lot of the guys are trying to swing for the fence, but actually what you need to do is build that consistency. If Mitch is doing 1,000 a week, right? Next step or next evaluation, once he see that it's profitable and very much consistent, then he can take a bigger risk and make 1,500 a month or a week or 2,000 a week. And this is exactly how you build yourself as a trader, not just trying to make it at once, but actually build it and create that consistency.
I 1000% agree. And I think the truth is that, hey man, if it's just going to be 1,000, remember I made 660 on one day, right? So it's not like I can't go above that, right? But what it does is it keeps me not trying to make it all in one trade or lose it all in one trade. Also, I talk about this quote and I think it's so important. I almost feel like literally like this should be a tattoo somewhere on me. I don't have tattoos, but I should have a tattoo on this. And it's that we don't let one trade make or break us either way, because if it makes us, it could probably break us too, right? That's the truth. And the truth is like, if I had a Lamborghini, I wouldn't put it up to risk on one bet. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. But hey, we'll see what happens here. GNLN now starting to get going, guys. I'm going to be trying to take a little bit of this one, guys. This is the absolute rocket of a move. So let's see what happens on this thing. GNLN here. I just put out an order there on a pullback towards 15. I just want to try to get an entry towards lower 15s here to see if it really wants to get going. I got 50 shares out there on 2 orders. So 2 tranches, 15 20s. And then 1490s. Let's see what happens on that. I'm putting some orders out just to see if we get some pullback fills. If I chase 1560s, that's easily how I get wrecked here. So I'm looking to see if this really wants to get going today. GNLN, as I do think this one does have potential, but it's the hardest one to trade, I think, today.
Another nice move on JD and Baba.
There you go. Baba.
Bye.
JD's nice one, man. JD's a nice one. And what about that yin? The yin, baby. The yin. Look at that, Michael. The yin, baby.
Just broke that head and shoulder that we talked about. So
that was a nice push. That really wasn't that bad. That was a nice one. That really wasn't that bad one, man.
I mean, the Nasdaq is... It's interesting to see because there are so many tickers up and down, but the Nasdaq is kind of flat, right? After that push. So yeah. I'm just waiting to see it starting to drop in order to add to the position, or if it will start popping, I will close the position on the Qs.
Yeah, I'm looking for the fake out here on the SPY to the downside. So I'm looking for it to come down towards like the 548s here. Make it look like it's starting to wash some trades, and then I can try to grab some below VWAP longs. That's what I'm looking for. Right now, Clean Spark is just holding right above the VWAP, so that's why I'm not getting in.
Also, think to look at the Nasdaq, the Qs, how strong it is comparing to the SPY and the IWM, right? It's already pushing to a new high, while those are lagging behind it. So that's also something to keep in mind. If the Nasdaq will turn, it will be interesting to take a short, maybe on the IWM or the SPY, because they are weaker than it.
All right, doesn't seem too bad. Par bringing up maybe Moderna for the swing trade outlook and to risk below that. That's not a bad outlook there. I know Moderna's working on a couple of different kind of drugs out there to try to get them away from COVID focus, but that's something to think about. Paul, great mention here. 100% made $602 on Zing with only the mini account. So, and most of that was made in the pre-market. You don't need to go crazy, man. Even with the mini account, making that $602, that's what it's about. That's it right there. And then I think the important part is a lot of times when we think that we need more sizing, let's say, what really truly is the difference between, let's say, 300 and 400 to 500 to 600 is you start to add these like kind of tranches, but you don't realize how much of a difference of a net impact that does on your net P&L. I think that a lot of traders try to get really quickly to that 1,000 shares when maybe 400 or 300 could have kept them in the volatility and really got them the gain they were looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, great trade, Paul. Great trade, man. All right, let's see what else is moving out there. I'm looking all around, guys. A lot of action out there. A lot of action. Soxal going higher, guys. The semis pushing strong today. Wheels up. Another one that's moving. Is Archer moving with that one? They love to move Archer with that one. When I see up, I look to see if Archer's moving. Archer is getting a little bit of a lift. I talked about how some of these growth names could push today. You're seeing it right now. ARKK.
I'm getting ready to short that Tesla. I mean,
dude, why did I go
6%
long
up.
Tesla? No one yelled at me? Come on, guys. Come on. No one yelled at me about Tesla. This is what happens, Michael. I freaking stopped watching it, and that's what happens. I was talking about how Tesla could be that one that just goes right back to the upside here as you've gotten some of the uncertainty out. And look at the move. Not even a single pullback. That's called a gap and go. And just forget, you guys. We're moving this thing. It ain't even look back. Man, that was a nice move. But you said it early. What did you see? You saw maybe 215 available, right?
Yep. Waiting for that.
I could see 215 coming on this push.
I want to short that 215. Give me 215 to go short on Tesla. Nasdaq continue higher. I'm going to wait just a tiny bit with the position.
No one yelled at me about Tesla. Chat, you guys got to yell at me. Oh man, now I'm gonna get a whole bunch of chat comments out there, just high caps. Match. Let's see what we get today, guys. Not doing too bad. Tesla, big move up there in Tesla. And with that one moves, this is the funny part. I don't even think about it. Ford, go up, baby. Go up. Look at that. Ford up. GM. I don't even need to look sometimes, man. Especially with the autos, man. There's something about Tesla. It just moves them all. It moves them all. That's why I'd even look at a crappy company like Nikola. Look at Nikola going up. It's crazy sometimes, guys. This is how the algos trade, right? They grab a little bit of the leader and then just starts absorbing some of the laggards and then taking like little feeler trades. And then next thing you know, as those go up, they go and sell that nice little Paris position or something like that to kind of hedge against that, grab that alpha. And that's why it happens. That's why I think it's so important to know your relationships. Like we talked about with Michael, right? He talked about JD. You could take a look at Baba. You could take a look at the different relationships and try to trade that.
Yeah. Crazy moves today.
Yeah, man. It's definitely one of those days where can you give me access to more buying power, Michael? More buying power. Give it to me.
We can do that.
Let's do it, man. Cisco pulling back now. We'll look to see if this one comes back to the 49. I like Cisco at 49, right? Because it's been stair-stepping, but now it just did this kind of like big move. I think it washes some traders out at the VWAP, comes back to 49, and then you get that reload on the hourly level. So hourly level 49 resistance. I'd look for that to hold on Cisco. ASTS still doing good. Clean Spark came back to the 11, like kind of 43s, but just right back up. So Clean Spark just staying strong right now. I'll look for some weakness in it to get back in it, but I kind of respect my VWAP rules. I don't like to jump in above that VWAP because especially Clean Spark, it loves to go and retrace the full move and then do this full move right back. So I'd look at the same thing for like Mara. You can see how Mara did though, tap the VWAP a couple of times. We'll see what happens on that. GNLN did get up there towards 1625s, back towards 1525s where I had an order out, but I canceled that now as it went up there through the 16s. We'll look to see if GNLN really takes back through that 1650s and really keeps going. This one's going to move all over the place today, guys.
Let's see, we got 5 minutes till 10. So we'll see if we will get that reversal. Like I said, now IWM is roughly weak. So look at it, drive to the downside while NASDAQ is pushing higher and the SPY is kind of thinking of it. So hopefully the Qs will reach that resistance level soon. and we will see a turnover, but I mean, it's strong.
Tough guy bringing in, why bother with Tesla when you can trade the TSLL? And I do agree with that. That is available to you. But to tell you the truth, man, I think it's better to trade the actual name sometimes. I know that some people love to trade those other kind of vehicles, whether it be on NVIDIA and trading those too. I don't know, man. I found it that the smaller size with the bigger name and giving myself more room is a better play than going with the smaller price one, higher size, and not being able to handle a lot of that volatility. Just the way I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you see a ticket when, $9, right? So you got plenty of buying power to play with. And even if you're on the mini buying power, and especially when you're trading the ultimate, like the $260,000 buying power, then from time to time, when you trade in those tiny prices, you will get like emotional, what it's called, like a emotional push to add more to your position, to take more risk, and just keep in mind to stay away from that.
Yeah, I agree, and couldn't said it better there.
Or control that. Yeah.
It happens. It clearly happens where you start getting that feeling because since you have the available, you start thinking about the potential reward versus the potential loss, right?
Exactly.
You really quickly go to that. You're like, oh, but this is like, if it gets a nice little $2, I can make the account right here.
Yeah. So many times.
That's the trouble thinking right there. That's the trouble thinking. And another reason why sometimes it makes sense, guys, is sometimes be like when you have a big winner, just to take some off, right? There's nothing wrong with that, man. No one's going to be mad because you took a winner.
Yeah.
Everyone gets mad when they see a big winner turns into a zero. Everyone gets mad. I don't care who you are.
It happens.
And it will. And it teaches you more and more. Sometimes taking partial credit is not there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, we passed that resistance, the first resistance we talked about on the NASDAQ. Now reaching the top line of the channel. Let's see how it will react from this area. Again, then it's super strong, and I don't see volume coming in to show us capitulation. Hopefully we will soon, and then I'll try to short and get my trades for today because currently I'm only trading that 100 shares on the queues with a tiny loss. We'll see if the market can change direction, and then I'll start hitting the Tesla and NVIDIA and maybe add into my queues.
5 just got some volume on that dip. Just looking at different names out there that are available. Amazon, big push up there, 176.50s. So that's actually looking pretty strong today. And I talked about how they're going to be looking at the gap fill on that. And that gap fill is pretty sexy there. You got some distance still to run. That gap fill is all the way up there, closer towards like kind of the 185. So keep your eyes on that. Not looking too bad there.
Nike still interesting. Look at that NKE. So it looks pretty good if it can break and reach that support level below it. So let's say that next support level, major support level, will be below the 77 area, the 78 area, or even a little bit lower than that. So you got between like $2, at least $2 to the downside here. We just need, again, we need another push from the market so everything will align.
Pullbacks coming in now. I'm seeing at least on CleanSpark, so I'm expecting some pullbacks to start showing up here. We'll see what happens. NVIDIA towards 120.40s, so definitely seeing NVIDIA push out there. Definitely not a bad move there. Now CleanSpark, I'll look for it to drop down towards that 1130s is really where I want to get in a little bit bigger. just sticking with that one right now. And we'll see if we're able to get some other trades in. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see what happens here. Zing has pulled back. A lot of these smaller names pulled back today. A little part of me is more focused on the bigger names today, but definitely that has pulled back there.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about, because we got plenty of time, so let's talk a little bit about that. I'm in a trade, right, on the Qs. Let me show you that. And I took a short during pre-market, and then added more during the market time. As you can see, one here and the other one here. Because the market was super strong, I only took 50 shares each, and it went against me pretty strong, like $3, almost $3, and I'm still holding it because I think the market will shift direction. And because I only started with 50 and another 50 shares, I got plenty of room to handle the position. And this is something we talked about, Mitch, a lot of the times, right? If you handle your position and not go all risk at once, you give yourself that space that even if the price goes against you to $3, you can still play with it and add more to the position, because I'm only in a $300 loss when I can easily take $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 loss. So in my eyes, I'm only playing right now with a filler, basically, which gives me a lot of the opportunities to add more to the position later on if the market will shift direction, as I'm hoping to see. So I'm okay with that loss because I started super small.
Exactly.
If you do that, yeah. So and again, I've been talking to hundreds of funded traders that we have at Trader Pool. If you'll do that and start small, building your position, you guys going to see a shift in your performance immediately.
100%. And I've been working on that. That's one of the habits I've been bringing to the stream is, and I've been talking about it as my habit to improve, right? Is starting small, waiting to take a swing. You can take swings, but it's important to try to maybe time it out, right? A lot of the times we're going to be just early to the trade. And with that, we want to be slower to the trade versus faster to the trade, right? Not just going in immediately with that 1,000, but maybe making that 1,000 spread out in 10 orders, right? And that can help us, right? The truth is, execution fees are execution fees. And like I always say, if I end green, I could care less about the execution fees. What I'm worried more about is trading green and red, right? That's what's going to matter more. And so I've been trying to work on that. And I just did it with CleanSpark here, guys. It was at 1145s at the VWAP, right? So I said, you know what? I got to at least take a starter there. I want 1130s, but I'm not going to get so picky that I'm not going to take a little bit there, right? And so I took a little bit there. We'll look to see if I get back towards 1130s for bigger sizing, but can always look to add on breakouts too. And I think that that's an important thing too, is try to build a core position on the supports and things like that. But once you get the breakout, you can also add to winners. The quote that talked about countless times, right? Cutting losers, adding to winners. The question is, can you do both of those? A lot of traders can cut the losers. Very rare traders know how to add to winners.
Yeah, that's also a great topic to cover. Adding to a position, a winner or a loser, it's a different way to handle it. But adding to a winner position from time to time, it's harder because eventually, you're already in a profit. If you add to your position, you lower your average, right? So you're kind of messing up your own trade, or you fear of messing up your trade. So what I used to do that helped me pass that barrier is basically starting to add to a winner position very small, right? So let's say I'm in a 500 shares position. I want to add more. I'm looking for those tiny pullbacks, either on a second charts or a 1 minute chart. And basically, once I'm adding, I'm not going to add 500 shares, right? I'm going to add 50 at first, and then I'm going to add another 50 and so on. So basically, add into the position when you're not risking the full position, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. It definitely makes complete sense. And waiting for the position to get at least a little away from you and being in the green can help with that. Now looking at Coin did a nice little break above the 200, watching to see what happens with these pullbacks on these crypto names. So that's what's my alert right now. That's what I'm watching, guys. There goes CleanSpark back towards the 1130s.
I'm going back for a second to my chart.
Let's do it.
So
let's take a look.
I added at the top, I added another 50 shares. Again, not adding too much just because the market is not super clear to me. And what I'm doing on the 15-second chart, I can watch for, like you said, the micro pullbacks. So that was the drop on the 15-second chart. If I'll see a pullback, a nice pullback, I can add more to the position and basically get in another chunk or getting closer to the average price, basically. So that's what I'm aiming for. There isn't a lot of resistance coming before that, so I will have to wait patiently until we get to the 471 area, and then I can add more to that pullback. Obviously, it could drop from here, but I want to add where the resistance or support were before. So I'm just waiting for 471 to add more to the position. If it will reach that, I'll add more. Let's see how it goes.
Watching Coin and Riot now. Riot off the VWAP there. 780s seems to make sense there. If I could get close towards that right now, it doesn't seem like a bad one to also take a shot on. 780s makes more sense for me than the 785s right now on the VWAP. We'll see what happens on Riot. Let's start a riot here.
Baba started to drop. Interesting.
Yeah, I saw the yin. The yin kind of told me that we could get a little pullback back towards like maybe 9 EMA on the yin. Maybe 2105s comes back here, and then they try to reload. So for JD, maybe a pullback to the VWAP makes sense. Yeah, 2720s or something like that. We'll see if it's able to hold. It's holding a support right now around 2750s.
Okay, let's see. Nvidia is reached that 120 area.
But the one to come after was Baba, man.
The Baba, definitely.
Right? I talked about how it was just like the thing that happens sometimes if a company has like a bad reaction on a tech stock, right? It's a tech name, right? But yet tech is having such a good reaction today that it pretty much washes out that report. It just washes it out. And since it was on the downside, it gives it the potential for it to come right back towards these levels where it came from. And you can see it's essentially above yesterday's close, showing you more and more how the strength just went right back in. And boy, oh boy, did they take it out the gates at that 78 to 82 almost. What a move there in Baba.
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3 dips there for CleanSpark. We're waiting for one more dip here. You guys know my rule of 3 underneath the VWAP. 3 attempts to break down, then looking for the 4th to create a bullish engulfing candle. We'll look to see if it can hit 1140s here, holds that, doesn't break through the 1136, back through the 1150s here. Let's see what happens. There's 1, 2, 3. I look for the 4th to be a fake out on the downside. Let's see what happens. Bum, bum, bum. I'll put this as big as I can so you guys can see it. See the 1140 attempt there? That's usually when I see this reversal, and then it becomes a bullish engulfing candle if it hits the 1150s and closes above that.
Looking at the VIX on 30-minute chart.
The VIX.
Yeah. I mean, we had a nice move obviously the push to the upside, then all the way down. Now getting closer to those levels at around 15, 1560 area, a little bit lower than that, or we also have 1540. And you can see on the 30-minute charts, we are starting to shift direction on the MACD, right? Is pulling higher. The last low started to push higher comparing to the previous low. And on the chart, we got two lower lows, or trying to create that extra low. So reaching that 1540 mark could be a nice shift on the VIX, meaning VIX pushing higher, NASDAQ, SPY pushing down. So keep an eye on the VIX as well. Oh no, Mitch.
What's going on?
My time is up.
No!
Yes. I want to continue to trade.
Oh, we need Michael to stay. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. We're gonna start doing some like goals where I pull Michael from what he's doing based on you guys out there. We're gonna have to find the way, man. Find the way. Well, like always, Michael, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day and definitely hanging out with us. I know the chat appreciates it also. A lot of questions are always coming in there. And like always, guys, we're always going to continue battling with you guys. I always love when Michael comes on and hangs out with us. So smash the like if you guys enjoyed it. We'll be taking a look at to see what else we can come up with. And like always, you guys can keep up with Michael. Hit him up on our social too. Ask him, Michael, what are you looking at this morning? He's out there. You guys hit him up.
Thanks so much, Michael. Guys. Good luck.
Have a good one, man. Take care. It's always good to see you.
Bye.
All right, guys. That's going to do it for Michael today. We'll be getting him out of here. Like always, guys, stick up with the trading action. We'll see how the trades do. He didn't do too bad today, man. Not bad on that JD. There's Clean Spark starting to get going. There's the 54s, guys. I'm starting to step up here. Just added on that. Now breakout back above that levels. And look at that. The rule of three playing to a key here. Now pullbacks to the 48s kind of makes sense here. We'll see if I'm able to get a nice pullback towards 45 and 46 here. If it just goes from here, I don't mind it. Let's see if this one can really start to push. Big thing is the SPY is pulling back there, trying to catch a little bit of a pullback. I'll keep watching different names out there. A lot of action out there today. A lot of action. Let's go. Clean Spark looking good there. Riot also looking good here. So I'm going to go and separate here, not just go into one name. Look to see if maybe I can get Riot also here. So let's see if we can just jump on this, kind of ride the wave. Hood is another one that I could look at. Let's see how Hood is looking. The chart is near the top of the range, so I don't like that one. Coin just pulled back to the VWAP. Good looking pullback there for Coin. Mara is another one that I could look at. That just hit the VWAP, held there well. Hut above that 1150s. Doesn't look too bad to see this one take back towards the 1165. This one's on a huge pullback, so could get back here towards 1275 today. We'll see what happens on that one. Hut trying to make the move. Riot now back towards the 789s. Clean Spark in the green there for me. Trying to take out the highs here. So let's see if we can really go back there and take out the 1170s and start to run. Don't got a big position, only got 300 shares, but I'll go looking around to see what else I can find out there, guys. This isn't the only name that I can trade. Let's keep going. PLL, Piedmont Lithium, making a move today. Don't see lithium making a move often, but hey, I'm seeing it move right now. We'll see what happens on this one. Volume thrust on this one, Piedmont Lithium. Why are lithium names moving? Got no idea. JD, of course, I'll look to see if that pulls back there. Yin was the move also, man. What a nice little move there. Big move up there to the 2140s. Array, medical device at the $2 spot, trying to make a little bit of a move. Thing just got zinged back down towards that 440s. We'll look to see if it makes a move off the VWAP. It's been going sideways this whole time, so it could wake up here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times attempt to try to break that down. Not a bad looking chart there. If I took a look at it on the 5-minute, I can see 1, 2, 3 kind of bottomings. Maybe it comes to 420s one more times before it really takes off back towards 5. I'll be watching to see if that acts as support. ASTS, of course, just ripping. That's going to help SPCE. Maybe can make a continued move. We'll see what happens on this one, but definitely some of these space names really getting a little bit of a push there. What was the one that I was trading? VSAT. VSAT was one that I was trading, guys. Just a few while ago, this had gapped right back down. We'll look to see if this starts to get the move back through 17, especially on a day where you're getting ASTS to make a move like that. All right, back to Clean Spark. It is pulling back a little bit here. We'll look to see if this makes the next step up here. 5-minute chart could pull back here towards, let's say, the 50 spot. So that still makes sense for a little bit of a pullback back to the trend line to get some recollection here. Let's see if Clean Spark really wants to go. Doesn't look too bad right now. Riot also pulling back there, 787, still looking interesting. I talked about 780s was the spot there for me. Went to 781, hit it twice, so didn't get really where I wanted it. 780s really where I would want it, right down here. We'll see if I get this a little bit later. For somehow I don't get the Clean Spark trade here, I could also look to see Riot a little bit later off that 780s. All right, guys, I'm in at here at close to the 1150s here, so I can't give it too much room here, especially since I added a little bit as it popped. I was looking at it a little bit later from the pop. Let's see what happens here on a pullback towards the 1145s. 1145 is really where I want to see this kind of hold, not break VWAP again. That's 1145 right now. All right, Clean Spark kind of going sideways here. OPTX, another one that's showing up on the scanners here for a rip. This one's a known runner here, guys. I might take a little bit of a scalp on this thing. I've made money before on this thing. This is definitely a known scalper type of play here, so be careful out there with this one. We'll see what happens in OPTX. Could get moving there. This thing has spiked before, and I've seen it run plenty of times. It's a good-looking chart here. I'm going to go ahead and take a little starter here, but be careful out there, guys, with this one. I will warn out there about this one. I just took a little bit there. I'm long 300 shares, willing to take another on the pullback back towards, let's say, 182 here, but definitely got to be careful with this one. I'll put out there 180 for a little bit of a pullback fill, just in case I can get it. Actually, I feel like this is just going to take off towards the 2. So it's kind of like, where do you want to fill in? I'll try to get like 182. All right, back to Clean Spark. Just looking at that one, 1150s just pulled back. That's a good level to like kind of now hold off of, right? So that's what I'm going to do here, guys. I'm going to step up to the plate and then just hold off of that. All right, let's see if they just want to take it here. See if I can get 49s right quick, and then it goes right back up. Orders out to add at that 49 here. Let's see if I can get that add right quick. Actually, I put it down to 47 just to give myself a little room here. There's that fill there at the 47s. Now I can start to take a look to see if this really wants to go. I'm going to risk really tight here towards the 43 here. Just need to see the candle go red or green, and then I'm going to switch it on. So this is a really good look here for like kind of bullseye that, you know, has been talking about kind of the stops and the situation there. So I'll show you. I'll actually do it right live, right in front of you. That's what I'm always about, trying to give you guys the transparency that you guys can see me do everything right in front of you guys here. So there's the 46, right? So this is what I do. I grab the chart stop and I start to hold it near where I think I'm going to get out. I'm not letting it go, so essentially not showing my hand, because until I let it go, it's not a stop loss, right? And so I'm just watching it here to see if it can come right back through these levels. Really don't want to see it take out this 43 spot, right? So I'm putting it slightly below that, because if it hits 43, I'm not going to be able to drop this, right? So I got to understand where the risk is going to be. A lot of times I'll look at the bottom of the end of the range. If it just collapsed right now, I lose 77. That's perfectly fine for me. So that's an important outlook there to always understand. now I start to see what? Okay, so we had a higher low trend that's important to hold. That's the 40s here. So it needs to kind of hold the 40s. So if it breaks, let's say 40, goes to 39, I definitely need to get out here. There's 43s showing up with a bid of 42. Now at this point, it could hit 40 at any second here. Got to be ready to get out if I need to. And I have the hand where I just got to let it go. And then the stop's out there. So this is how I would approach it here, is so that I can show you guys how I use the stops there. So there's the 43s. Now I could get that wick at the 40s, and there's the wick at the 40s. You see how the bid's at the 40 right now? If I had it out there, it would have closed. It would have closed. And I think that this is an important thing to kind of learn around, right? So you got to be able to deal with that first little bid pullback. And the important thing is not being too big, because if I was too big here, I'd be feeling the pressure. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm down $300. I can't do this. Well, the truth is I can take even a wipeout move. I could take that $77 hit. I think that's an important outlook to understand. Okay, now that we're going towards like 36, and now we're kind of really starting to drop off here, it could really just drop off in one little shebang here. So where did I say would be my max loss here? It's towards this 35, right? Shouldn't let it go through that 34. So at this point, 36 has been the low. I'm going to go ahead and drop it at 34s, let it go. And now if it comes and hunts me, at least I have protection for the next downside wave, which would be that downside cut through the 34s. Once it goes back through the green, I'm going to take this stop loss off. All right, going to OPTX now. I'm going to go handle this one. This is a fast mover, guys. So I'm going to step up to the plate on this, guys. Be careful with this thing. And the only reason I'm trading this is that I've traded this thing in the past, and I know how it loves to run. So I'm going to take a shot on this. But is it a hard trade? Yes, it is. I'm putting up the risk up back towards like the 185. So 185 on pullbacks. OPTX, really looking for this to push through $2. And then out of nowhere, volume starts to come in. What's up with the smaller names? Zing, sideways, not really doing much. I don't think Bitcoin's on a downward trajectory. I think at the long run, I think you're going to see Bitcoin get to 100,000, maybe even before the end of the year. But that's just me. If you don't feel that way, man, go short me. Go short me. I won't be mad at you. Yin getting a little bit of a bounce there, guys. So just to mention that, nice little bounce there in Yin. SPY going right back up. That makes me feel good about Clean Spark here. All right, that makes me feel good, guys. That makes me expand the risk a little bit here, down towards the 1132s. It could always get back into this name, but I want to give myself a little bit more room here, because I feel like we're going to get a little bit of a downside action move here. Let's see what happens. We're towards the 35s here. Got to take a look at it. You see how I'm holding it right now, right? What does that do? Essentially can move it here. So I'm just taking a look at it here to see if this starts to hold and gets back above the 1140s on the 5 minute. This closes back towards a green candle, and I could actually step up here looking for the push up. Another thing could be here is just limiting the risk on this one and then opening up Riot as another potential move that could go back to the upside. Bunch up here, guys. Be careful for a little bit of a wick fill. All right, there's that 34 showing up there. So definitely giving me the opportunity to get out here. There's 35s. SPY slowing down a little bit there. Back towards the 38s. Back towards 39. And now I can definitely leave it there off that 34. Looking for this to turn into a green candle on that 1 minute, then start to head to the upside. The 15 should start to hold a support now on this. And now we have that support clearly drawn towards the 34s. Looking for this to open a new candle and go back towards the 55. All right, well, there you see it. The stop's right there. It's set there, guys. And you see me move it around a little bit. It's not like I keep it in one spot. BSCO, how's that doing? It actually did pretty well up there to the 24s. What's up out there, team? What are you guys looking at? All right, tough guy, you looking at the Bitcoin just today? Yeah, that could happen. I think it. And future day trade says 100K, never. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't be betting against it, at least. We'll see what happens. LITE showing up there. See if that one makes a move there. OPTX, what are you going to do, man? Trying to see if this one wants to run today, guys. Sound, whatever happened to Sound? Came back at 5. Didn't really break out, though. Zing not doing much there. Serve. Getting served up on the pullback. All right, guys, let's see what we can do today. Still up just a slight bit here. It's 10:25. Let's keep going. Let's keep trading. Let's see what we can do, baby. All right, back above the 1142s and on the green candle on the 42. So canceling out my stop there, guys, because it just gives my hand. It shows my hand. That's not what I want to do here. I want to start looking for 1150 recovery and then could really size into this, take a swing for the day. Let's see what happens. Like we talked about, sizing up slowly, letting myself give an opportunity there for the breakdown. Now back above the 1150s. Oh, I'm taking a swing here, guys. Let's go. 1150s show up there. I'll take a swing. There's the 1150s. Not seeing much size at that. It just tapped it really quickly. Didn't really break it. Looking for some reloads here on the time and sales. Seeing 4,000 shares. Look, I would love to see a nice little big offer. Good hit there, about 2,000, 5,000 shares. SPY climbing back here. That's looking good there. Slowing down a little bit here. OPTX still trying to break that 192, but still hasn't really made a move at all. The volume is just dead, though. That's the big thing that I'm seeing here. Not doing too much at all. I'll look for it to get through 2 first before I really try to size up here. The thing about this thing is the spread. The spread's already a little wide. I'll put that 178 as the risk right now. I really want to just see it pop off into 2 and then really start getting the motor going. So we'll see what happens on that. There's the 1152s there for Clean Spark. So here's the ad time. Let's go ahead and step up here. Where's the bid? Bid is around 1148. The wall is 55s. Let's see if we can get a dip back to 50 here, and I'll add. Got the order out to add there in Clean Spark. See the limit right there, guys. I'm going to actually pull it back towards my entry. Willing to add at entry. How's Riot doing on this? There it goes. Starts to make that little bit of a move there. This could be a tight risk to return at around the 83s. Maybe it's a 4-cent risk here going for this to go back through 8. Doesn't look too bad. What about Hood? How's that doing now? Hood up there towards the 1983s. Kind of like it here, guys. I'm going to go for a little bit of Riot here. All right, just took a little bit of Riot there. Can hold off this kind of Easy risk to return. It's about 45 bucks on the risk side. Looking for it to go back through the $8. So I'll look for a pop through 8, going towards like 8.10s. So that's kind of the outlook. I can set the trade and forget it here. You see the set trade there. Set it and forget it, baby. Back to clean spark. It's already popping there towards the 1160s. Didn't get the pullback fill, so I'm actually putting it below my entry here to try to give it some bid support. If it just comes back really quickly, it'll fill me, and then I'll look for the complete breakout through the 1160s and 1165s. The opportunity is there now for it to really run. Let's see if it gets that. Any pullback, I want to be about 50% of this candle and not let the breakdown below this 1140 happen to me. So there you guys see what I'd be taking a look at. Could go also putting like closer towards like 45. I don't mind the 1147 because I think you'll get 1145 on the bid there for that fill. Riot could add towards it, towards let's say like 785 if I wanted to, or 790s on the breakout attempt. Could go up to 1,000, but I'm trying to like kind of separate it out. So I can also take a look at coin. MSTR is another option. And this is all in the same direction, so I got to be careful with that. But definitely, the trade's there. Look at MSTR pushing to the upside. That actually looks pretty good there. Macy's pushing up there with that retail number, of course. That's going to help it. And it's trying to break the 17s right now. If you're looking for a little scalp, opportunities there. JD, what's up with JD? It's pulled back to the 2740s. Holding pretty well, though. Baba. Pulled back there. It's still holding up at the 81s. All right, what's up out there, traders? What are you looking at? ASTS from 25 all the way up. Yeah, man. ASTS was a really nice one there. That's continued, and it's been a trender. It's been a trender, that's for sure, man. Not a bad move there. ASTS towards 2660s. That tells me to look at maybe like SPCE for a sympathy play. We'll see if it gets through that level, gets going towards the upside there. OPTX still not doing much there. SGML, that one made a decent move. TPST, Tempest, up there to $2. Having a decent day for sure. Even Peloton moving. Even Peloton getting a little lift. Clean spark up there towards the 1160s. Just tried to break through that level. Kind of failed at that point. Let's see if it just really takes it now. Pulling my limit back towards the 1145 as it takes longer and longer. I actually don't want it to fill. I'm just putting some bid support out there, but essentially not trying to get this to fill there. Riot still looks good here for the 790s to break out towards like 798 and 8s here. So it's more, do I want to step up and increase the risk here? Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't really look that bad at all. I like this undercut. Let's see if it can really get going. Start to break through the 802s. How's Mara doing on that? Mara trying to break through the 16. You guys can see that. Setups are there. OPTX now starting to get in the green on that. Now I'd go ahead and I cancel the stop on that. And I want to add on this, guys. And this is going to be a little bit of a risk today, but I'll take it, guys. I'll take the risk. I got 190 on this. It's just breaking through the 2s. I want to go ahead and add just a little bit there and then add some below the 2. So I'll take some there. Now I'm up towards 195, looking for this to really get running. Just got to be slow to the move. Try not to add too quickly there. Just stepped up. So now let's start to see if this really wants to break. Seen this make runs before, so that's why I'm going after it, guys. And I've seen this thing run when it wants to make a move. I haven't traded this thing in forever, though. I will say that. OPTX. I think this was one of my first like penny stock wins. I think a little part of me has this like inner love for OPTX. I will say that. Clean Spark not getting through that 1160s, kind of struggling there, guys. So we could get a little bit of a pullback on this, and it could go ahead and make another support test towards the 1134s. So at this point, I'm actually canceling my ad and being careful with a quick pullback and pullback that would actually break me out and get me out. So at this point, I'm looking for the breakout, but if it's not going to go, I got to be ready to get out if I need to. All right, we'll see if we get that breakout look, right? This is the breakout look right there. It already is getting that opportunity for the breakout. Pullbacks could be right here towards this trend line. So got to keep that in mind, right? That could always happen here. Looking to see if we take the 65s and then go back through the 1170s. If we could do that, this could really get running. So trying to hold on right now, guys. Trying to hold on. OPTX pulling back towards that 199 by 190s. So going to keep waiting until I get this goes right back into the green. That's when I'll start to take a look for some more ad. Out there, what's up out there, guys? TPST is a little smaller one. We'll see if that can get a run. It hasn't been a bad day overall. The SPY still holding in there, guys. Now 550s. So it did try to make this move to 548. Couldn't break down there. So, hey, market's staying strong out there, guys. We'll see if Clean Spark makes the next step up here. The attempts are there. Now it's just more along, will the buyers step up and take the run? All right, let's see if we can get this nice little push here. I like the 15-minute. There's a lot of resistance now. So you can clearly draw this, right? So 1150s should hold here. It's looking for the breakout towards the 1170s. But if not, it could hit the 1150s really quickly, and you're back towards the 1140s. So the trade is there. Now the question is, will they take it? Riot just hanging off the 790s, went up to that 792s, has pulled back multiple times, could pull back towards the 82s here. So it's just kind of getting to that point where a little part of me is thinking about just cutting Riot at least, because I'm green on Clean Spark, not green on Riot. So I'm gonna do that. So just to manage it, just in case Clean Spark doesn't break out there, I cut Riot. So 750 loss versus giving up the one that I'm up 70 on, right? So at this point, I'm focusing on Clean Spark getting me the money today. Even though Riot can keep moving, right? If Clean Spark goes, Riot should go too. I don't want to get to the point where both of them break down on me, and then now I'm deep red, right? So just trying to battle, team. How we doing out there, traders? What's up? What are you guys looking at? $65s are showing up there for Clean Spark. We'll see if it starts to make that move. Definitely won't let it I won't let it become a loser now. It has the opportunity to run. If it doesn't run, it could probably pull back all the way back towards the 11, then maybe run later in the day. OPTX is pulling back there. That one I'm going to go ahead and manage here. The thing about that one is the spread. That's where I got to be careful with that one. The spread's opening up wide there, guys. So I'm setting a $66 out there for Clean Spark. Not Clean Spark, OPTX. Can we make the move? It just slowed up, man. It just it's on a halt almost. And it's not a good halt. It's just not moving, not trading. So definitely a lot of sides going through there at the 58s, about 9,000 shares there. Not too bad. GNLN starting to work its way back through the VWAP there, guys. This has been up there multiple times. It could start taking a move now. GNLN, if I do take this, I'd take it really small to see if it makes a big move, right? 50 shares, I can hold even a whole dollar point. So let's see what happens with this GNLN. I still haven't taken it once. I took it once on the first day in the pre-market, but that's about it. Doesn't look bad here, man. The run could be big, right? And that's the only reason I'm looking at this, but it could also just fade this and then become, it opened at 445. If it goes red there, it could easily pull back to 12. This is going to be one that's very, very hard to trade, guys. What are you guys feeling about GNLN today? How are you guys feeling in the chat about that one? I'm leaving it right now. I'm still looking at CleanSpark out there, but GNLN, there's the move to 1530s. We'll look to see if it just keeps running. That's just a hard trader. Look at that cut down back to 15. It's a hard trade, man. It really is. We'll see what happens there on OPTX. Probably going to get cut out there, guys. And that one's going to be more of that stop loss hunt kind of thing. But the truth is I can't go too big. And I'm glad I kept it at 500. Didn't go too insane on the size. Still a little bit more than I probably want. Probably should have just stuck to that 300 share size at the 190. CleanSpark just not wanting to go right now, guys. Starting to fail now. All right, guys, doesn't look like we're getting the moves right now. And I think at this point, I think I just got to be smart. I'm not getting the breakouts that I need to make the big wins. Just got to make sure that I manage this. Don't want it to become a loser, so I'm already setting a stop in just a second. If it hits 50s, I will set the stop there to get me out at the 49s for a $2 loss there on CleanSpark. Could run to the $20, $40 right now, but that's really not going to do me much. Could move me closer towards my weekly goal, that's for certain, but looking for a little bit of more of a win. I was looking for the pop above the 1170s. My average is 1149. So here's that pullback. We'll see what happens on it. Can it get the pullback and catch 1150 buyers? That could still happen. But I'll tell you what, guys. Definitely not trying to push it here now. It's starting to slow down on this crypto move. I thought we'd get the boom back through the 1170s there. Giving it the chance here to go ahead and catch some buying right back through the 1160s, but we'll see what happens here. You can see the 9 EMA starting to slow down there. And now it's starting to have price action below the 9 EMA. I need to see a quick 9 EMA recovery here. If not, it easily cuts down to the VWAP. There's a cut down back towards the 54s and the 53s. Could go to the 1150s really right next. Here's that 1150s pullback. Now we're getting towards it. Might get hit on that pullback now. Could still risk maybe 50, 60 bucks, but there's really no point at this point. I'm not seeing much in the market. I'm seeing a slowdown on the action here. I think this is more to do with what's going on in kind of lunchtime now. It's starting to die down. We could get a little bit of a slow up period and then a speed back up. We'll see what happens. The order's out there to cut it. If it just goes down, I got it at the 48s. ASTS, that's starting to slow down a little bit. Kind of. It pulled back from the 26.75. We'll look to see if it comes back to the VWAP, which is the 24.75. It's not a bad one to maybe take a look at it for it to come back towards that level, which is the VWAP. It still hasn't come back to VWAP all day long. Tesla, man. Guys, clip it. My boy, Michael, talked about it this morning. I felt Tesla could go up higher. I was asking Michael, where could it go? We talked about 215. It got to almost 216 from 205, guys. Honestly, I didn't trade this, but that's 10 points, guys. I hope somebody out there was able to nail this trade. We talked about it right here before the open. It was one of the top trades. I'm so annoyed that I didn't trade Tesla today because literally it was on my eyes. I was watching for it. Just didn't look at it at the open. I looked at everything else but Tesla. And boy, oh boy, was Tesla the trade today. Look at that one. Not a bad one. Held the 90 EMA the whole time. What a move, man. What a move. That could have been a monster win. Monster win there, guys. 5% on Tesla. I hope somebody nailed it. All right, seeing that dip here. Probably going to get cut out in clean spark as it's pulling back here. Very easily can cut me out. I just put it down to 47 to give myself another penny. But it's trying to get me out here on clean spark. So I'm not going to fight it too much here. Could keep adding to it, kind of battling it here. But I got to see this start to get in the direction. Can always get back into the name too. That's the other thing about getting cut out. If I get cut out, it gives me the opportunity to get back in it later today. All right, guys, it's 10:45. I'll be keeping a look out there to see what else is making a move. Of course, we'll keep seeing the action out there, guys. It's Thursday, so we still got a lot to trade on Friday. Definitely the bulls are out there. They're jumping all around. I wonder how Ulta's been trading today. Let me take a look at that. Ulta Beauty pulling back a little bit there, guys. I'll tell you one thing. I'm definitely going to be watching for a kind of an Ulta pullback to get in. Maybe the 350s, 340s makes sense there. But that's kind of more of a swing trade outlook. We'll see what happens out there. Cat was one that I was going for, a swing trade outlook. Looking for this to kind of really get the move. It did kind of add to it here on the swing, guys. I'm taking a bigger swing there in Cat. We'll see how it turns out. Right now, I got about 20 shares. Average is 343. I really want to see this kind of rip here out there and start to go higher. XLE is another one that I can look at. I could add to the XLU. That's another thing that I'm looking at. Open is down a little bit. This is the swing account. We'll see what happens on this. XLU has been one that I've been thinking about adding. But I need to add when it's closer towards my entry. 73.50s would have definitely been a good area to take a shot today. We'll see what happens on that. It's at 73.80s right now. Cat, do you want to get out the hat? We'll see what happens on it. I'll tell you one thing. 20 shares is still a good amount because Cat could easily move $10. So just taking a look at it, maybe thinking if I add one more time. But other than that, I want to hold on this. This is an outlook based on Deere going higher. And look at Deere going higher right now. So you know what? Let's step up to the plate in Cat. Let me see if I can get a little bit more here. It doesn't have to be monstrous. It could be like 5 shares. I'm at 343 80s. So I would love to get a little bit better entry than that. Maybe 343s on the ad. So I don't know if I'll get the fill, but I'll put it out there at 343s. 5 shares there on the pullback. I'll look to add one more time if it pulls back. If it just launches off from here, let it get going. I'll be watching Cat to make a nice move. XLI is another way to play this, right? So I talked about how that was on the playbook today. We'll look to see what happens in XLI. All right, back to Clean Spark here. Clean Spark getting a little bit of a bounce there, back towards the 1150s. Let's go back to Clean Spark here and just watch it. I'm going to cancel my stop loss for right now. Just looking for this to make the move back through the levels. It has the opportunities here. Now it really needs to just go. Shouldn't see that 1150s break again. So if it shows up 1150s, I'll probably just hit the out button really fast. If it goes back through 1170s, I'm looking for the breakout towards 12. OPTX pulling back there, trying to get me out. Now the stop is it's about 183 by 184. So I'm gonna have to pull it back there towards the 180s and start managing this OPTX. They're trying to get me out on the spread. We'll see what happens on that one. SPY just taking off here towards 551. So Clean Spark. I'm feeling good about the ad on Clean Spark. I'm stepping up to the plate here, guys. We'll see what happens in Clean Spark. If it goes back through the 1165s, I'm going to actually add there for another ad. Let's go ahead. Let's do another 200 shares there. 65s. Boom. I'm going to try to take a step up trade here, guys. what I call a step-up trade is I'm putting some stop ads as it breaks out. So 1165 and 1170s, I'll be adding at that spot. I'd have a big share size, so I'd have to look for the big move to 12. But let's see if we can get it here. I'm not adding right now. I'm adding if it goes in my direction. So essentially adding to the winner if it does go into that winner. But we'll see what happens there, guys. Kevin, what's up, man? Thoughts on Bros? Is it too late to chase? Actually, it might be smart to look for a little bit of a bounce or a pullback in Bros. I think Bros is one of those that, to tell you the truth, the comparable sales need to change. It still hasn't changed in the fundamentals enough for me to think about it as an investment. I think a lot of that has to do with the situation that's happening in Starbucks overall, because Starbucks isn't doing well either. So if we're thinking that the consumer is slowing down, well, they're probably not buying the expensive coffees, right? So I don't know. I don't think it's definitely a trade for me right now, Kevin, but Bros is something that I'll always pay attention to. Another thing to think about, too, is what's mentioned in the reports right now. A lot of people are talking about Bros, and what are they mentioning? Well, they're mentioning that it's a little bit frustrating about Bros because of the way that their store expansion and the strategy there, right? If they had just allowed franchisees to just buy it, I think it would be all over the place by now. It would be working its way in the East. It would be here, like, let's say in Florida, in different states, major states. And I think that that's an important outlook. It's in the West Side right now. I think a lot of that has to do with the coldness that you find in the West Side of the United States. But we'll see what happens. Bros, baby, bros. AT&T will be bearish from today until next month. And why is that? Cost, you got to tell me why. I think I know why, but you tell me why. All right, guys, just not trying to do it right now, guys, on this Clean Spark. It's just kind of hanging in there. Let me take a look at Riot. How did that do? Riot just hanging in there. Did go back to that 780. So now it can make the move. We'll see what happens there in Riot. When will these crypto stocks make the move? Hood is just climbing and climbing. Coin trying to make the move back up. How's ARM doing today? Not as well as I thought it would do. AMD is doing pretty decent. That one's not a bad move there. Woof is doing well too. WULF. Keep name in the capital markets. We'll look to see if it goes through 4, but not a bad looking chart there on Woof. ELVL. Evolve Technologies. I actually like this system and this company. I'll tell you one thing. I've gone through the Evolve Technology plenty of times. It looks like it wants a gap fill back towards 380s right now. It's starting to push towards the 350s. Could pull back to the 335s. But I'll just mention this one. If you guys have ever been through the scanners where you walk through and you don't need to pull out your phone, you don't need to pull out the wallet, you just walk right through it, and it kind of gives you a reading if there's anything that's dangerous and things. Oh, man, this technology is awesome. I have no idea why this company doesn't get appreciated. It's in tons of stadiums out there. Evolve Technology, just one that I'll bring up. I need to bring them onto the show. I've reached out to them multiple times to try to bring them on, but I'll try to do that to see if they can bring them on. I've talked to the CEO before. Let's see what happens at Evolve Technology. They actually follow me on Twitter. I got to hit him up. Clean Spark, just who hit the pause button on Clean Spark, guys? This thing was popping at the gates. Now it's just asleep, guys. Yin on the pullback, guys. So we're getting that yin pullback. So the China names on the pullback right now. Look at that yin pulling back there. So 21 is what stands out to me there. JD can pull back on this. Look at 27s or maybe 2690s as that outlook. Will the SPY just collapse here or will it just keep going? I think it keeps going. Qs overall is pretty strong there. So Baba on the pullback also could be pulling back here. Yin, interesting that it's pulling back there. JD kind of led this pullback. So I'd be looking to see if those can hold. And of course, you had that kind of pre-market chart. So I'd look at the 15-minute chart. It should have held this resistance up here. If you just undercut it there, Next layer underneath that is where the support is. I would probably give it the support towards the 2650s. Really needs to get back above the 2725 to make a push back towards 2775s. It's not the biggest, reward outlook either, but we'll see what happens here in JD on the pullback. What is it doing? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Look for the reversal back, bullish engulfing candle back towards 27.25 is what I'd be looking for in JD for the move right back to the upside in this China name. It's not a bad one to maybe take a swing. So if I wanted to take a swing on JD, of course, it's already kind of gotten a move up on the daily, but could just keep going. Could make another step up, going to the 28s and things like that. It's not a bad one to take a look at. We'll see what happens there. XLU doing decent. Cat still not giving me that added fill. We'll see what happens there. Going towards the day trading action and ready to start wrapping up the day, guys. We'll talk a little bit about Clean Spark here, but I'm going to focus in on that as we start to wrap up the day here. It's 10:55. It's going to start wrapping it up, guys. We'll see what happens here. There's the pullback that I was a little bit concerned about. Now we're right back towards that 1150s. Will we break it down? We could easily break down here, start to pull back. And I'm noticing pullbacks all around in the market here, guys. So I think we might go through a little bit of a pullback time. So I'm going to go ahead and set the stop here at the 47. Might take like a $12 hit there. That's not a big deal. We'll take a hit on OPTX. Even if I finish the day down, let's say $80, not bad. I started the day down $80 in the pre-market. Made a nice trade there. I wasn't big enough in Clean Spark earlier, so that's why it was only 87. It should have been closer towards like 160, and that would have kept me in the green on the day. It wasn't a bad day. Controlled the risk, as you guys can clearly see there from the report. We'll see what happens on this one. Will I get stopped out? Hey, only one way to find out, guys. Come here tomorrow. Catch me, of course, on Trade the Pool. I'm going to keep trading, keep getting after it. I hope that you guys enjoyed the action today. Thank you, Michael, for joining us, taking a look. What a great call on that Tesla trade. And definitely, we're going to have to clip that one because boy, oh boy, what a move there in Tesla today. Hope somebody out there was able to nail it. Hit the thumbs up. We'll keep battling right here on Trade the Pool. We'll see you back tomorrow, guys. Hit the like. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool, and I'll see you guys back in the hot seat, guys. The Bulls are up today, man. Bulls up for sure. We'll see what happens out there. Like always, hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We'll see you back right here tomorrow morning at 8:30. Keep battling out there, traders. It's not easy. It's not just one way.